Modern Dud Chat is brought to you by Beard Supply. BeardSupply.com. All natural beard care grooming products for your beard. Beard care for wildlife. Hey guys, welcome to the Modern Dud Chat podcast. We are live here at 903 Brewers here in Sherman, Texas. We're talking to Jeremy Roberts today. Stay tuned. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, like Cody said, on this episode, we're on our first field trip. We count to 903 Brewers in Sherman, and we're kicking it here with the man himself, Jeremy Roberts, and we're getting into how they got started, beers. He actually, instead of just one beer, we're featuring multiple because he brought us a flight of deliciousness, and yeah, there's so much good conversation, and not just beer related. We talk about dad life, we talk about beards. This is one of those instances where we just didn't have enough time to cover we left so much meat on the bone, and it's such a pleasure to come here and chat it up with them, and we really enjoyed this episode, and we hope you guys do too. So again, we're here at 903 Brewers with Jeremy Roberts, and without any further ado, let's do it.
Cheers.
I wasn't sure how to start this one, so
little more enthusiasm there, Chuck.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's like you're in a different space. You're not sure how loud you want to be or how crazy you want to get. But yeah, so we're back with another episode of Modern Dud Chat. This one's special. This one is
we're in a new space.
Yeah, we're in a new space. Our first field trip.
Yeah.
Why don't you set it up?
Let's go. We're at 903 Brewers in Sherman, Texas. We're here talking with Jeremy Roberts of 903 Brewers. Jeremy, say hi.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good, man. Thanks for having us out.
Oh, man, I'm glad for you guys to be here.
Yeah.
It's been a while, Cody, since you've been out. So
yeah, man, it's been years, honestly.
Good to show you the new place.
I know, man. It looks
upgrades
great.
to the place.
Heck yeah.
Not the new place.
I can't speak enough on 903 Brewers. We actually, just to get started, my wife and my brother and family, really, we came out to Jeremy's very, very first tasting. When was that, Jeremy?
I was trying to think
Do you
about
remember?
that. I think it was probably...
It's like 2012, maybe? 2013?
It was somewhere around, I think 2011, like fall of 2011.
Yeah.
And that's when we really kind of were like, okay, we need to start planning for opening the brewery.
Yeah.
And we started doing these tastings at our house. And, we didn't know how many people would show up, but, man, there was a pretty good little group showed up.
We showed up, and since then you guys have just blown up. And I'm honestly excited to just sit here and talk about, like, from that very first tasting up until this point now, the success that you guys have had. I know you guys have won multiple awards on your beers over the past few years, and just getting into all that, some beer talk. So,
and I'm just excited to finally be here. We've been talking about coming up here. You've obviously been here before.
Yeah,
I have not, but we've talked about trips up here before.
Yeah.
And
just haven't made it out here,
and
man.
it's just something always happens. So I'm finally made it, and pretty pumped about it. This is exciting.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess let's start with that, Jeremy. Let's start with from the very beginning, I guess, why you got started, how you got started.
I'm gonna pump the brakes on you, real quick, because you know how we get down around here.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
Come on, man.
Duh.
Get it together. All right. So y'all know we feature beer or whiskey or liquor. We feature alcohol every episode. So of course, being at the brewery, we got some. So Jeremy put together something special for us. He got a flight. And so we're going to try a few different
I'm going to take a picture
beers.
of this. I'll post it so you guys can see it.
All right, Cody's going to get the social media going. So throughout the episode, we're going to try a couple different things, I guess, is how we're going to do it. So, Jeremy, where are we going to start on this thing?
So today we're going to be trying 5 different beers. We're going to start with our Mocha Vanilla Cream Ale.
Nice.
It's different than any other beer because it's a cream ale with coffee. And so most people think, coffee, they automatically think stouts or porters. And, we brewed this beer. It's got, a local CJ's Coffee. It's a coffee shop here in our area, and they're a local roastery as well.
Nice.
So they roast it just for this beer. So it's a perfect one to start off with. Next is, after that, we have our strawberry cake cream ale. So it's another collaboration with a local bakery in town. We actually use 150 pounds of their strawberry cake to brew this beer.
That's awesome.
300 pounds of fresh strawberry puree, and then vanilla. So it tastes like a strawberry cake.
That sounds fantastic.
Holy moly.
And then next we did our Trashcan Punch, which is all a part of our slushy series, which is our fruited gozas that we've been doing. It's got 5 different fruits. We'll see if I can remember without looking at a sheet. Apricot, passion fruit, blood orange, cherry, and pineapple.
Nice.
So in the color throws people off, but it's like, man, when we were in high school, remember making Trashcan Punch? That's the color it was. It's like,
So I want to go back real quick. You pronounced it goze? Is that right?
Goza.
Goze.
That's how we say it in Texas.
Okay,
It's probably pronounced a lot
Well,
fancier than that.
I was curious because I always call it like a goze. I don't even know what I call it. A goze?
Yeah, it just depends on how much I drink, I guess, what I call it.
Yeah. So there's really no. I mean, we're from Texas.
Yeah.
So we call it whatever we want.
So
but
I just call it a Goza.
goze? I like
Yeah.
that. I like that. All right.
And then last is our next stout. It's a peanut butter stout, and it's part of our summer stout series. We're used to big beers.
Yes.
And we lowered the ABV to 7.5%. We use a ton of PB2. The powdered peanut butter, and the nose on it's amazing. Then we're going to finish with the barrel-aged peanut butter stout, coming in at 12%.
Cannot wait.
Aged in Jack Daniel whiskey barrels for well over 12 months.
Holy cow.
And the beer is going to be the perfect one to finish on.
I can't wait, man. That's awesome.
You're
You're
speaking Cody's language
dude,
right
yeah.
now. He's in
whiskey,
heaven.
and that's why I love 903 Brewers, because Jeremy does it right, especially with the stouts. The Sasquatch is one of my favorites. It's a big hitter, and then you throw in some whiskey barrel aged stouts. I'm all for it. And Jeremy's always been really good about producing beers like that.
We try. We try.
So let's dive into the first one. Which one are we going to hit first?
I think you said, Mocha Vanilla?
Mocha Vanilla? Let's do it.
All right.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks, Jeremy, for having us out, man.
Appreciate it.
So I'll describe a little bit about it. Is with the Mocha Vanilla, it is it's a 5% cream ale, and you get this. So the way that we actually add the coffee to the beer is we actually cold brew the coffee with the beer.
Oh, man.
So that the it's not bitter. A lot of people, when they do coffee stouts or porters, it's almost too bitter. And it's the way that the coffee's added in it. So it's nice and well balanced. Our brewer Wilson did an amazing job. And then with the chocolate that goes with it, and then the vanilla, it's just it's a perfect morning beer.
Chuck and I are over here shaking our
This
heads.
should be outlawed. Like, this is crazy.
It's
like,
unbelievably
this
good.
is good.
I want to
Hey,
be like, what was that guy on Varsity Blues when he was like, 10, a fucking 10?
Yeah.
That's his beer right now.
Exactly.
Dude.
Yeah. Oh, man.
This is really good, dude.
This is definitely one of those, for me anyways, on those occasions where I get to crack one open before lunch.
Unbelievable.
This seems like one I would definitely go to. It doesn't hit, like, it is very smooth, like almost drinking
And the
like
coffee,
a water.
The coffee comes through really nice.
Yeah.
The vanilla, dude. Well done.
Thanks, man.
Well
Thanks.
done.
So in this whole flight, except for the last one, these are all readily available, or is it only here at the brewery?
So this one is a brewery only. We brewed this one in the spring, so we get a lot of. We're out completely sold out of cans here, but we plan on brewing this one again next month and then releasing it around November. So we're going to do a cream ale version and a stout version of this.
Nice.
And that's kind of what we like to do. So that way it gives both of our clients, because we get people that only drink light beers, and then we get people that only drink dark beers, and so that way we can give them the people what they want.
There you go.
A little bit of both.
No, that's perfect. Okay.
So let's dive into how you got started. I mean, I know the backstory, but I've mentioned it to Chuck a little bit, but let's dive into how you got started with this whole thing.
So my wife Natalie and I, who we're partners in this business with, we owned a financial coaching business, and basically, it was a pretty boring business, but it was a business that was needed for to help small business owners like myself. And what we did was we went in and we looked at their financials, and our whole job was to get them back in a positive status. I mean, we had customers, our clients, that that their business brought in $5,000 a month, and we had customers, our clients, that that their business brought in well over $1 million a month.
Yeah.
But what we found is no matter how much money or how little money they brought in, they always spent more than they actually made.
Okay.
So our job was to go in there and really cut the fat and show them how to be in a positive status. And so the thing about it is, when the economy crashed, and I think it was in 2006, I can't even remember, 2007, when it really went to crap, we thought that business was going to go under. However, it thrived. It grew. People needed us more than ever, and they were willing to pay for us. But what happened was all of my customers were like super depressed.
Really?
And because they were either going through a divorce because of the economy, they were addicted to drugs, alcohol, and talking to people who are depressed all day. I myself became depressed.
Yeah, of course.
So I had no hobby because I worked nonstop. And so that's whenever I started homebrewing.
Nice.
And
out of the garage?
Yeah, well, actually in the kitchen first.
In the kitchen? Okay.
I was doing it I had a 5-gallon pot there in the kitchen, and me and Natalie were, just we needed a hobby and something that we could do together, really. And at the time, it was never a plan to start a brewery.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It was just kind of get our mind off of the business.
Yeah.
And for us
you don't have to go out and buy beer. You can make it at home. And
yeah, we still did.
And it's a hobby too, though.
It was a hobby, and
you can only make so much in the kitchen, I feel like.
Yeah, well, 5 gallons of beer is a lot, and especially your friends aren't going to drink the beer you make. So especially our first batches were absolutely horrible. But what happened was part of our business was we traveled the country, and I would get invited to speak at seminars and really educate people. And at the end of the day, we would always find ourselves at a brewery, not at a bar, at a brewery.
Yeah.
And their stories were all great. They started in this old, rundown part of town, and they revitalized it. And they brought it back to life. Yeah. And, Natalie and I, we were sitting at 1, and, 1 beer turned to 2, 2 turned to 4, and 4 turned to 6. And then it was like, why don't we start a brewery? And so the next day we were flying back home, and I'm on the plane, and I'm just working on my business plan.
Yeah.
And Natalie leans over, and she's like, what are you doing? And I said, I'm working on our business plan to start the brewery. And she's like, well, wait a minute. You were serious about that? And I go, well, yeah. Weren't you? She said, absolutely not. I wasn't serious about it. And I was like, oh, shit. So I knew I had to put my selling shoes on, and it took me about a year to convince her.
You had to pitch your wife, right?
Oh, constantly. And, she can see it right through me. But I basically told her, I said, here's the thing. As a consulting business, it's never business that's worth anything. You're only worth what people are willing to pay you. And so what we really wanted to do was we wanted to, build a business that one day that we could either sell or that we could pass on to, our children. And we didn't have any kids at the time. And so we were blessed. We sold that business. And, in 2013, we started 903 Brewers here in the run-down part of Sherman.
Yeah.
It was the cheapest place that we could find in town. And, it was pretty scary. I mean, this was...
Yeah, no doubt.
In our little town, this is where the drugs were sold.
Oh, really?
And so, we thought, okay, if we can just, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. If we just do what these other cities and towns were doing,
right,
we can. And if you notice, turning in here, there's new townhomes going up right here by us. And it's all because of what happened here.
That's awesome,
6 years ago. And we just copied models that were working in other parts of the country. And Natalie and I, both being from Sherman, we really wanted Sherman to grow and to be more, hey, look, let's not be behind the wheel. Let's be at the front of the wheel.
Yeah.
And, it's really cool to see what's happening in Sherman, the growth that's going here, and really just changing the culture.
Yeah, that's awesome. So awesome. Yeah, I remember we came up for that first tasting, and, I found you because... So 903, let's talk about 903, the name, real quick. You want to do that?
Yeah.
So Chuck and I are both from Greenville, Texas. That's where we grew up. We graduated high school. And we actually share the same area code that Sherman, Texas shares. And I believe that's how I found you. Is I was scrolling through Instagram one day, and I was just like, holy cow, what is this 903 Brewers? Because I was really getting into craft beer at that time. This was probably, I don't know, what, 2011, 2012 we were talking about, and just started following you guys, and you were, just like you still do today, posting videos off your phone, nothing fancy, nothing, out there. It's just you're recording yourself, which has worked for you, which is what I love about what you do with this brewery and your brand and all that.
And you're probably like me. When you were telling me about 903 Brewers,
yeah,
you don't realize how far. So we didn't. 903 is the area code.
Yeah,
right?
that's the area code
that covers Sherman and actually covers Greenville. So, but you don't realize how large that area code is. So when he told me 903 Brewers, I was like, they got to be close by, right?
And that's what it was. I thought you were like in Greenville or nearby. And come to find out, you were in Sherman, which is what, an hour away easily from Greenville, where we grew up.
I think it's
So that's how I found you, and I guess you can talk a little bit about how you created the name or you came up with 903 Brewers. I guess it's pretty obvious.
We ruined the ending.
No, you're
the
fine.
area code, but
Well, so
that's how we found you. That's how I ended up finding you.
when you're naming a business, it's so hard because you're like, okay, this has got to be a name that people will like. For example, we're a brewery, but we're also a clothing line. We sell merch.
Yeah.
So it's got to be something that people would wear, whether it's a shirt, a hat, a hoodie, a jacket, and it's got to be something that people are proud of. So it's got to be a strong. So if I named it Jeremy Brewing Company or Robert's Brewing Company, that just doesn't
Probably
sound
not going to
cool.
sell a whole lot of shirts, right?
Right, it doesn't sound cool.
The Jeremys of the world will be happy.
Yeah. And so, we were going to name it Sherman Brewing Company. I thought, well, we're bigger than that. We're bigger than just Sherman. So then it was like, well, should we do Grayson County? And then we were like, let's think bigger. And so 903 represents the whole Northeast Texas, which is one of the largest area codes in the state. And so we thought, let's do that. Back in the day, you didn't have to dial an area code when you did a phone number.
Okay,
It was just 5 digits, right? Or 7 digits.
7, yeah.
Yeah, and so, it was simple and easy. But, I think it was after like 2003 or 4, you started having to dial 903 when you dial the number.
Yeah.
So my marketing brain is this, like, let's do 903 Brewers. And so every time someone dials a 903, they're going to eventually think of us. Every time somebody does a radio or TV ad and they say, hey, call our number, it's 903, da-da-da. Well, then they're going to always think, oh, brewery, right?
Yeah.
So it's part of my sales marketing mind. Let's ingrain this, and do this, and do it.
Genius.
And that's kind of what happened. And, there was a brewery in Austin, 512, and there's other breweries that have area codes. And so, but that was just part of my marketing. It's just I want people to always think of us when they dial that number or see that ad on their TV or
That's
radio.
smart. I mean, you covered a broad area when you decided to name it 903.
Like you said, when I see, like, even in other parts of Northeast Texas, North Texas, the 903, like being from that area code, like when I see a glass or a shirt or a hat, I'm like, hey, that's dope. Or I'm like, hey, I want to get that just because it ties into where we're from.
Yeah.
Good beer matches well. So, dude, I love that about the name and putting it on.
And
merch.
that's right. I had no idea it covered that much. How much did you say 903 covers?
So it actually goes
like
from Whitesboro, which is 15-minute drive further west.
Okay.
Then it goes all the way to Texarkana.
Jeez, I
down
had no
to
idea.
Longview, Lufkin, and then it comes back up through I believe where Cedar Creek is, and then through Roy City, Greenville, and it doesn't go through McKinney, but kind of through Trenton, back up this way. It's weird how it was laid out. So it was I found out later it was our third actual area code. And so I thought, well, shit. Hopefully they don't change it, right? But if we do, we'll be like, Prince, the artist formerly known as Prince. We'll be the brewery formerly known as 903, right? So
I like it.
Maybe my pitch is look, I got a tattoo of it, tattooed on me, for God's sake. So let's just keep it in Sherman.
Yeah, Jeremy's in it for life. He's got 903 tattooed on his arm, his forearm. I like it.
So, that's kind of how we came up with the name and a little bit of the reason behind it.
That's smart, man. I like it. I dig it, and it covers a large area, and that's honestly that's how I found you, because it resonated with me. I was from 903, and I saw 903 Brewers, and immediately thought, I gotta like this brewery. I gotta get in on this brewery because they're representing my area code. So well done.
Oh no, yeah. But before we get to the next one, on that note,
Yeah.
I love the fact that it's 903 and it represents where we're from, but at the same time, back it up with quality beer. So
For
good.
sure.
Because that would be a little brutal if it wasn't that good.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean,
but dude, matched up perfectly.
Killing
Love it. So what's the second one? This is
We're going to dive in the second beer
So
here.
the next one is a strawberry cake cream ale,
Ooh.
and this is actually the third time that we brewed this beer, and we were only supposed to brew it once. So one of the things that we kind of talk about is we employ more women than we do men, and a great example is my wife. She's the owner of the brewery. She actually runs the brewery. I'm the face of it, and so when I say face of it, I'm the one who's always in here talking to people about beer.
spokesperson.
Yeah, and Natalie's more behind the scenes, and that's the reason why-
operational type thing. Yeah.
she's it's crazy what she can do that I can't.
That's awesome,
And
man.
whether it's installing equipment, running equipment, but she oversees everything. And so when people come in and want to do a tour, they don't want to talk to her. And I'm like, dude, she installed all this equipment in high heels and a mini skirt, right? She's a true badass.
That's awesome, man.
Me, I couldn't do that, but that's why we work so well together. So the ladies of 903 kind of got together, and they created this beer series, and it was called Down with the Pastryarchy. And the reason is because there's this myth that beer is men, and we actually there's in craft beer. Men may not want to admit this, but there's more women that you find are drinking craft beer. The amount of women are growing in numbers faster in craft beer than men, and the reason is that women in today are very educated. They've got great job. They make great money, so they want to spend it on things that they like. Men, and I can say this, I'm a man.
Yeah.
I'm cheap. So it's like, what's the cheapest thing you got, right? And not that women just blow money, but they're like, hey, I make good money. I worked hard. I bust my ass to get where I'm at, so I want to enjoy the finer things. And so, we're really seeing our numbers as 903 are growing, even before we did the Pastryarchy series in women than men. And so we did this beer, and we teamed up with a local bakery, and it was Mom's Bakery here in town, and since you were a kid, if it was your birthday or Easter or whatever, you got a strawberry cake. And so they kind of came up with the idea, let's do this. And so we used 150 pounds of strawberry cake from Mom's Bakery to brew this beer. We added 300 pounds of fresh strawberry puree and vanilla to it. And it literally tastes like you're biting into the middle of a strawberry cake.
It's, again, unbelievable.
I'm going in now. I'm going in.
I've already been sipping on it. Man, this is good stuff. So is this another cream ale?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's the cream ale. So our chosen one, which is one of the beers that I brewed in my kitchen, one of the first beers that we released, it's a coconut cream ale. So it's the same base, except there's no coconut in it. And then that's where we took that base and we added the strawberry cake and then the fresh strawberry. And so that's why it's kind of got a little pink color.
Yeah.
From all the the strawberry that's in it,
So-
and then the vanilla.
Cream ales are easily one of my favorite style of beers, especially that coconut. When you guys came out with that coconut cream ale, it was just, I would buy it nonstop. I would get it at Craft and Growler. I'd go in and fill my growler up all the time with coconut cream ale. It's one of my favorite styles.
We're talking about the
Coconut,
chosen one.
Chosen one. Yep.
I think that's the first 903 beer I had.
Yeah.
And that's where I wanted to go next. Was what were the first 903 beers
Yeah.
that you
So-
had brewed up or started with?
question.
Out of the gate, we did the chosen one, and then we also released. It was called Roos, ROOS, Red Ale.
Yeah, I
And
remember
it was
that.
named after the Austin College kangaroo.
Yeah.
And so, we tried to, brew beers and do things that had a local tie to it because honestly, part of marketing is your home base. So where you're from, this is where you're going to sell the most beer. The further you go outside of it, the less beer you're going to sell. So we tried to, at first, really tie many local names as we can. I got a good story coming up.
Yeah.
But the Rouge Red, the thing about it is red ales are boring. And, we brewed a blonde and, it sold, but it was boring. And so, we're like, we're not going to be like every other brewery. We want to do adjuncts. We want to do crazy stuff. We want to have fun.
Yeah.
And so we unfortunately, we no longer brew the Rouge Red Ale. And we get a lot of requests for it, but we're like, man, no one drinks it.
Yeah.
The next beer we did was a brown ale. And it was called General Sherman's Brown Ale. It was a 3.2%,
Remember that.
brown ale. It was a beer that I really brewed so that I could drink all day and not be hammered, right? And
Like
it was
a session.
yeah, and it was
beer.
before I thought about brewing Sasquatch. So I brewed this beer, and I was so excited. I put it out on social media. General Sherman's Brown Ale. So our town is named after General Sidney Sherman. And funny thing is he never even came to Sherman, but he was just who they named the town after.
Huh,
well, did y'all know that there's 2 General Shermans?
Oh, whoa.
So do you know the other General Sherman?
Weird first. Tecumseh or something? Is it, or am I completely off base?
What?
I give up. No, I don't know what I just said. What
Did you say Tecumseh?
No, it's the one that marched and torched the
Atlanta.
South.
Yeah, burnt down Atlanta.
Tecumseh,
that you're
Sherman, or
talking about?
something.
Yeah. So
I hope so, because I'm way off base. If not,
we got if you meet me, I am far from racist, and I was called a racist bastard for naming a beer after General Sherman that
gosh. Are you
torched
serious?
Atlanta, and I was like, oh shit, I guess I should have done some homework and seen how many General Shermans there are. But no, this was named after the guy that they found our town after, and I'm just trying to have these local ties.
That's honestly that's probably like that's one of those lessons learned in building a business, right? I mean, everybody hits a point where like you're like, shit, man, that was a lesson learned. Like I didn't do my research. Next time I'll do a better job at naming the next beer or whatever it is. But
but
you did it out of pure innocence.
Yeah, just after the guy from my town. And,
right.
And I'll be honest, I don't. I'm like, school wasn't for me.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason why I passed school was because I made my teachers fall in love with me, and they're like,
you played the game.
This kid is so nice. There's no way I could fail him, right? And that's how I got through school.
Yeah.
And so I didn't even go to college. And so when the people were like, "You had a financial coaching, but how could you do that without it?" And I was like, "Well, I'm good with helping people,
Yeah.
and there's a problem. Well, how do we fix the problem, and how do we help people grow?"
Yeah.
And so it's there's just those 2 types of people. So when people are like, "How did you not know about that?" I'm like, "Dude, school for me was." Either is there a party this weekend, or if not, I'm going to throw it in my house.
Same here, dude. I mean, that
that's
was
the
me.
only reason why I went to school. It was a social event for me. And so, I mean, I don't think I ever did my homework, and I probably passed a handful of tests in 12 years.
That's awesome.
But my teachers loved me, and I graduated.
Yeah, you're a people person.
Yeah.
and
that counts in the real world.
It does. And I mean, look what he built. I mean, he's a people person, and that's what it takes.
So that's kind of, when we learned about names and things, and that's why we said, okay, we're going to do our homework before we name anything. And if something happens, we change the name really quickly.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, to me, I mean, you should be allowed to make some mistakes like that. I mean, of course, with social media so out there like it is now, of course, people probably saw the name and just went after you, which sucks. But to me, when you're building a business, you're going to make mistakes, and you're going to have situations like that where you're just like, suck it up, and we'll change it next time. We'll do better next time.
So those are kind of the
That's
beers
funny.
that we did early on.
Yeah.
And as you can see, last year we did 50 different beers. And this year, like I was saying earlier, we've got 62 different beers that's on the docket, on the schedule.
Unbelievable.
My goal is to get up to 100. And, so unless some things happen, it looks like that we should be able to hit that goal this year.
It's crazy, man. 100 beers.
It's impressive.
I hadn't done it yet. It's
You
got
have
a long ways to go.
Do you have a lot of ideas?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are crazy.
Yeah, I love that, though.
But, it's something that, that we got into this. And, not knocking, Deep Ellum or Revolver, but, man, all those breweries do is Deep Ellum does Dallas Blonde, Deep Ellum IPA.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then Revolver, Blood and Honey.
Yeah.
And, we didn't want to become that brewery. And those are all 3 fantastic beers.
Yeah.
And, those breweries have gone on and been, like for us to look up to, been very successful.
But you're right. I mean, that's the only beer on tap in most bars.
So that's it. And we didn't want to be that.
Yeah.
And so, we wanted to be 903 and be different. And so we thought, how can we differentiate ourselves from the pack?
Yeah.
And brewing a bunch of crazy stuff.
I love it, man.
And, I tell people all the time, I'm like, people are weird. They'll come up and be like, man, I didn't like this beer you brewed. And, you just have to sit there and take it, smile, and you're like, man, I promise
have you tasted the other 60?
Yeah, I promise I'm going to have a beer you like.
Yeah, right.
And, that's what we do is we just try to find that one for them.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. That's great. So let's transition so it went from kitchen to garage, the first tasting, and then you and your wife decided we're going to open up full-blown brewery. You got the tap room. Let's talk about since then, the I guess the past 2, 3, 4 years, the expansion that you did across the street, and then anything else that
Yeah, we
that
can talk
you've been
about the
working
future,
on.
kind of like
Yeah,
the growing of
yeah.
it. So, we started really small, and the thing is my wife and I, we didn't have the finances to go out and start a full huge brewery.
Yeah.
And we weren't confident in our business at the time to go out and try to raise it, millions of dollars.
Right.
So, we went to the bank and we begged. We had great credit. We begged and pleaded and borrowed and got $30,000 to start the brewery.
Nice.
And we started on a 55-gallon system. And we brewed on that for, a little over a year.
Which is a small system, kind of.
It's a homebrew system on steroids.
Yeah.
Like some of the homebrewers now that are brewing are even brewing on bigger systems than that. And we were supplying like 5 accounts. We were supplying the brewery. We were supplying 2 accounts in North Texas. And then we were supplying a place that I wish was still around. It's not. It's called Jack Mack's Grill.
Okay.
Craft and Growler.
Craft and Growler, yeah.
And the Rustic.
Yeah.
Those were like our 5 accounts at first.
Nice.
And then since then it's grown into so many other accounts, and now we're statewide, Texas, Oklahoma, and now into Kansas. And so but we started really small.
Yeah.
After about a year of just killing ourselves.
And you at that time you were distributing
everything ourselves.
Yourself, right?
Yeah.
And I want to make sure we note that, because that's a huge part of your success is you're out there distributing the beer. You're driving the van to each location, each account, and dropping beer off. He's booking it back to the brewery, picking up more, and going back out, right?
That's what we did. So I wish people could see it. We'll talk about it. But where we're sitting now was a like an overflow like storage room.
Yeah.
And so our brewery was really small. Our tap room was really small. Where the bathrooms are now is actually where I was brewing the beer.
Yeah.
And so what would happen is we still had our financial coaching business. So literally I would wake up at 3 a.m, I would start brewing, and I would be done by 8. I would run that business, and it was consulting, so it was done all over the phone. And then I would literally hop in the car by 2 o'clock and drive beer to all these accounts. And then I would come back and I'd brew again.
Grinding, dude.
And so we live 30 minutes north of here up on the lake. And so right back here, you can see, we still have it here. There's a little bitty window unit.
Yeah.
So that window unit didn't work for shit. And in the summertime, I mean, it said 80 degrees. It was 90. So Natalie and I, we had no kids and just our little dog Foxy. We pulled our couch up against that wall. And that's where we would sleep a lot at night. Because I would get up at 3 a.m. It would just be like, let's hop up, let's go. And, I'd drink my coffee and get to work. And then, we grinded at it, and we did that. We did that for a year, we literally slept on a couch against that wall. And so when we expanded that, they were wanting to take that window unit. I was like, no, that's part of our story. I want it there.
Oh yeah, you can't change that.
And so it's unplugged. It could have been unplugged in. It didn't work. It just blew hot air out. But for us, it made us feel like it was something cool.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad you kept it, dude. That's awesome.
And this is where we started. And since then we grew, and the system's back in that back room. We actually recently sold it to a new brewery that's starting in Salina.
Oh, nice.
This is our 7-barrel system, 200 gallons. And we brewed on that for about 2 years. And then 2 years after that, we upgraded to the 1,000-gallon, which is a 30-barrel brew house next door. And so, literally like the song Drake, we started from the bottom. Now we're here, like for real. Like we started from the bottom. And, we're definitely not here yet, but we're getting there.
Yeah, dude. You took us across the street, and it's a massive operation at this point. I mean, I'm impressed, and I still go back to that first tasting out in your front yard, and I'm just like, to see the success now and the operation that you're doing over across the street now, and the many gallons that you're producing, and the accounts that you have all over the U.S. is just phenomenal. And just to think, kitchen to like full-blown brewery in a matter of 6 years, right? It's unbelievable. Well, so cheers to that.
Thank you. And it was from 6 years from our kitchen. So from our kitchen it was like 2011.
Yeah.
So from the kitchen to here, it's 8 years.
8 years, yeah.
And people ask, they're like, what's the secret? What's the secret to take any business and doing it?
Secret is just doing it and grinding, right?
Well, the real secret to success is being dumb. And it's being dumb when people tell you you can't do it, or look, the road wasn't easy. The story, there's a long. It would be as big as the Bible for me to tell you the story.
Yeah.
But and what I mean by that was there was a lot of really bad parts to it. There's a lot of being told no. There's a lot of being told your beer sucks. There's a lot of people, getting that feedback. So when I say being dumb, it's just like being dumb enough not to believe those people.
Yeah.
And it's not that I tuned them out. It was, part of it is Natalie, when Natalie tells the story, she says it a lot better. She just says, well, I believed enough in the system.
Yeah.
And so, we wrote our goals of like, this is where we're at. So it's a map. So, you've got to know, like, this is where we're at. Well, this is where we want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's it going to take to get there?
Yeah.
Well, we've got to do all these things. And so we literally wrote a system of, okay, these are all the things it's going to take to get to our goal. Now, this isn't the end goal. We've got bigger dreams than this.
Yeah.
But realistically, I was just dumb. I was dumb enough, just not to realize that all the things that people told me was going to happen actually did.
Yeah.
And if I was smart, I probably wouldn't have gone through with it.
You didn't let it impact you.
Yeah, but it was just being dumb.
Yeah.
And so
I like that.
And that's the thing I tell people. I'm like, it's easy to say don't listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like being dumb.
Yeah.
And but Natalie tells the story better. It's just like her and I both believe in our system and we stick to it and we don't get off track.
I love it, man.
Well, and that was what was impressive to me was going when we did go across the street and seeing what you're working with now, but you still have some of the first, what do we call them? The
fermenters.
Yeah, some of the first ones, and
little tiny guys.
They're sitting next to what you have now, and it's just to know where you came from and to where you are now.
And we still use that,
impressive.
like a test batch. Like y'all saw I walked in and there was beer on the floor, and the old system that we use, and it was a test batch that we had, and one of the seals leaked, so it leaked all over the floor. And it's not the end of the world; it just stinks.
Stuff that happens. Actually, it didn't stink.
Yeah,
it smelled amazing.
Delicious.
It smelled like whiskey barrel aged beer is what it smelled like to me.
It stunk for me because it was on the floor. But
yeah.
And that's things is like, look, mistakes still happen.
Yeah, of course.
And you're going to have problems. It's just like, it's part of it.
Yeah, that's definitely part of it.
The more you do things, the more problems you're going to have. And we're by all means not perfect, but it's crazy to we still use, like I said, still utilize that small system, and it brings back a lot of old memories, good and bad.
Nice. So you mentioned Bibles just a second ago, and I noticed that you guys do a beer and Bibles every Tuesday night.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? You want to talk a little bit about that? Because I think that's really cool.
Yeah. So
honestly,
the thing is Sherman this is a Bible Belt, and so what's crazy is 10 years ago, you couldn't buy beer or wine in our town.
Yeah.
And it was going to a neighbor town, so our city finally got smart and said, we're losing millions of dollars in taxes.
Mm-hmm.
We got to change this law. So, basically what it boiled down to is people have this perception that people who drink are drunks. And it goes back, to Prohibition and how they force people to believe that alcohol is bad and it's a sin and things. And it's like anything's done in moderation.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that are bored with church. And, in my family, we've had, 5 different generations of preachers. So my brother's a minister, my dad's a minister, my grandfather was a minister, and my great-grandfather was a minister. And so, for us, it's like it's taking, like, church is changing.
It is.
And to me, it's almost it's becoming like a like the preachers are these celebrities.
Yes.
And man, that's great if it works for certain people. What we're trying to do is reach the people that won't go to church.
Yeah.
So we started, hey, let's do beer and Bibles, and we do it here every Tuesday night. I mean, we'll have 10 people, we'll have 30.
Yeah.
And we've been doing it now for about 3 months, and it's been going really good. It's basically just we do a devotional each week. We have different preachers that come in and done it. I've taught. My dad teaches, and we all share a beer.
Yeah.
And it's really cool because it's different than what really anybody else is doing in the country.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we want to do. We want to be different. We've caught a lot of flack from it. I've had people say a lot of mean things to me about it.
Yeah.
And once again, it just goes to being dumb. I don't care.
Well, there's a lot of I know of a lot of small groups. They call them small groups now that have little get-togethers, Bible studies, and people are drinking beer. They're having a beer or two, and you're having a Bible study because that's. Like you said, the church has gotten to the point to where it's getting boring now, and it's changing dramatically. And I've been listening to a certain podcast for 3-4 years now, and it's specifically that, talking about how the church has changed over the years and what we were taught when we were younger, and a lot of it was BS, and just how it was formulated and put in all of our heads, as far as like, don't drink, it's bad, it's terrible, it's awful. As long as you do it in moderation, changes the game. Beer and Bibles. Have a beer and have a devotional. And
and Cody filled me in on that on the way over here. And my dad's also a preacher.
Yeah.
So I totally get it. And kind of what y'all are saying is that it's almost like now stuff was happening back then. It was just like you don't talk about it. We just don't reference it.
Yeah.
And then now it's a little bit more open, but that's how it should be in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I love it too. Like if we had something.
Transparency, authenticity, that wins.
Yeah,
ultimately.
I think so. It goes a long way for me, just in my personal experience.
So respect on that, dude,
yeah,
for real. Because
absolutely,
I've noticed that over the past few months, you're doing a beer and Bibles, and I just thought it was the coolest thing, honestly. So
well, thank you. And like I said, it's been something we've always wanted to do. I just hate that it took us 6 years to do it.
Yeah.
But it's neat and it's growing. And like I said, I probably shouldn't have said the churches. A lot of these preachers are becoming celebrities, and
but they are.
But and if that draws certain people in that wouldn't go, then that's awesome. This is just our way to outreach,
right?
And I've really enjoyed doing it, and I kind of look forward to see where it goes. Here in the next few years.
That's awesome. You want to do another beer?
Yeah, no, I'm eager because I've been waiting on the trash can.
To be honest, I'm going to have to take a piss break, so you guys want to take a piss break?
Yeah,
a little bit.
I mean, if you need to go right now.
No, let's dive into another beer.
I know you got a child's bladder, so we can push pause if you want.
Not yet. Let's have some trash can.
Let's have some trash cans. So I've been looking forward to this one. Yeah,
so we started doing these, the fruited gozas, and they're called slushies. We're like one of 10 breweries, what I've read, I don't know for sure, that are in the world that are actually doing these style of beers. So literally, it's our 903 Goza base, and we add a ton of fruit. So this one's got 5 different fruits in it. And so
it's fruity.
I don't know if you guys did, but in high school, we did Trashcan Punch. And it's you just add all sorts of just juice.
Still do Trashcan Punch.
This guy loves Trashcan Punch.
I love it.
And ton of Everclear and vodka, well, really whatever you get your hands on,
So what do you call it, Chuck?
We talked
your version.
In college, we came up with something we called the good drink, and it was a barbecue cup from Dickey's Barbecue, and we knew where to stop, and it was Everclear and Monster, and that's all we do. We got to pass the trash can part. We just Everclear and Monster. So you're talking my language right now.
Man, you're talking Hangover too.
Yeah. I'm a machine though.
Yeah, man, I want to be you. So with this, and this was my wife's idea, because like the first slushie that we did was peach and mango. And then the next slushie we did was my favorite. It was the berry series. So it was blueberry, raspberry, blackberry. And look how thick and colorful that one is. She's drinking over there.
Yeah.
We added vanilla.
Almost looks like a Bloody Mary.
Yeah, lactose in it.
Crazy.
I can't say this because it's against it, but if I could, I would say the health benefits of all the fruit that are in that. And so, but legally I can't, so I don't say it, right?
Right.
So, the thing about these is the Trashcan Punch tastes like a high C. Remember the high C's you would drink?
Yes.
But it's 6% alcohol.
Oh, so you just nailed it. It tastes like high C.
Yeah. And the color, when our accounts were pouring them, they were like, something's wrong with this keg. And I'm like, what's wrong? And they're like, the color. And I'm like, no, that's what it's supposed to look like. Trashcan Punch, drink it, let me know what you think. And they're like, it's, the untapped reviews are like, this beer is so good, the color is horrible. And we're like, well, I would much rather it be that than the color is amazing, the beer is horrible,
Yeah,
you know?
most
So
definitely.
Well, it's
Most
intentional.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a purpose behind it. It's not just we want it to look a certain way. I mean, if people say it looks bad, we don't want it to look bad just to look bad. It's because it's supposed to look like Trashcan Punch, right?
that's exactly right, you know?
I'm here for it. I love it.
I dig it.
So, with this, we're really happy, how these beers are doing. Next up on the slushy series we've got coming out is a strawberry cherry limeade, and it's going to come out in about 3 weeks.
Nice.
So we've really upped our production on the slushies, and so the goal is to just like crank them out, just keep on, keep it on, keep it on,
Heck yeah,
keep it
dude.
on. So the strawberry cherry limeade is, it's kind of like a Brahms has a cherry limeade.
Yeah.
Drink and Sonic has
Sonic,
one,
yeah.
and so really we all love those, and so it's like we want to do one. Let's do it with the slushy series, and but yeah, I'm loving this. Last night, it may be the reason why I'm a little slow today, but I think I had probably 6 or 7 of these at the pool last night.
It's nice. It's easy drinking. I will say that. I mean, it's easy drinking. All right, I got to take a piss break, guys.
All right.
I'll be back. Are we good on sound? Everybody good? Man, I sound really good, Chuck. This sounds better than like where we normally record from. Honestly,
I pulled out all the stops for you guys today.
Okay, all
so I want to make sure everyone quality.
Yeah, quality is where it's at for
If
sure.
we're at 903, we got to be about that quality. You know what I mean? All right, we're good to go.
Let's do it.
We're on.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready. Yeah.
Are we on?
I mean, I'm not cutting this, so we're on. I mean, yeah, we're definitely rolling.
Back from my piss break. All right.
Yeah.
So, Jeremy, let's talk about being a father, because you became a father right in the middle of really when this thing was starting to grow, right?
Yeah. So
And fatherhood is great.
Yeah, fatherhood's amazing, and it's one of those things that Natalie and I have been together almost 20 years, and at first, we always said two things. It says, one, we're not financially ready, and then we're not responsible enough people to have children.
Yeah.
And we learned two things: is like we may not feel responsible, but we're more responsible than a lot of these other knuckleheads having
Oh
kids.
yeah, for sure.
And two, no matter how much money you have, you'll never be financially ready. Now, starting the brewery, we are less financially ready than ever, because when you're building a business, you have no money because it all goes back into the business, right?
Yep.
So but going back to it, the day that we tried for, and that's the fun part is trying, for 3 years to like really have a child.
Yeah.
And we were basically told by one doctor that we weren't going to be able to, and then we went to a new doctor, and she did some blood work on Natalie, and she was like, hey, you're just missing this one, piece, and what it was, I can't remember, but she had to take some medicine, and within, and it was like a cheap medicine. I was thinking in my mind, is this one of these $20,000, like experiments? And it was like after insurance, it was like a $13 pill.
Oh man.
And 30 days later, we were like, oh my gosh, we are pregnant,
No way.
and
What'd you do? Like, what was y'all's reaction?
oh man, it was.
Do you remember that day? Of course you remember that day.
Yeah, and it was, it was really exciting, and it was crazy because it was a weird part in our life, because we had to sell our house to continue to fund the brewery.
Oh wow.
And we were only going to move in with her parents short term.
Yeah.
And when I say move in, they have a loft up above their house.
Okay.
We're going to move in there and figure out, are we going to buy another house? We're going to rent a house.
Got your own space. You can hang out. Figure it out.
So the day we close on our house, Natalie's like, I'm pregnant, and we're, it's so exciting, but I'm like, man, I'm 36. I'm living with my in-laws, and now we're pregnant. Like, this is not perfect timing. And so we were like, well, we're just telling ourselves we're only going to be here for, a couple months, and then we're going to figure out and get our own place. And, almost 2 years later, we moved out since then.
Yeah.
But it was really helpful because at the time they helped watch our son Champ.
That's awesome.
And, they, helped because we had no clue what we were doing.
Yeah.
None. And, so to just kind of figure this whole thing out, but, something about being a father and, having a son, and then realizing, like, oh, God, I created another me. Like, he's hard-headed, he's stubborn. He tells bad jokes like me, he runs around in his underwear like me. And so, there's just a lot of funny things that happen.
Yeah.
the hardest part of being a dad is to discipline your child when it comes to it.
Oh, yeah, man.
Because I really just want to laugh at him.
I struggle with that too.
Yeah, I just want
It's
to
hard.
laugh.
That's what my wife tells me a lot is quit laughing. It does not help the situation.
Yeah, I get told that all the time. She's like, why are you smiling? Don't smile at her while you're getting onto her.
And
it's hard.
It is hard. And, the other thing I talk about, people that are becoming a parent, I'm like, I've never really hated and missed somebody so much at one time.
Yeah.
Like their kids are wearing you out, you're just like, we got to get away. And then we go on a quick getaway and we're like, we miss them. We wish they were here. And it's just, people told me those things.
Yeah.
And, when you experience it, it's amazing. And then in March, we had a little girl.
Awesome.
And I'll never forget how upset I was when I found out we're having a girl, because I wanted my son Champ to have a boy, a brother.
Yeah.
Because I had two brothers.
Yeah.
And then the day Cecilia was born and I had held her, I was like so thankful and blessed that we had a daughter.
Yeah, man.
And I did not want a boy.
That's
and
awesome.
then, all those thoughts that run through my mind is like, how many boys' asses I'm going to have to kick?
I know, right?
And
hey, but you got an older son that will take care of it.
You got some backup.
He will help you with that.
I hope so, So this is the thing that we talk, it's so funny. Natalie asked me, when we first started having, we first had Champ, she was like, he was like 3 months old asking these questions. If Champ brings home a girlfriend, are you going to let them go in the room with her? And I'm like, well, I won't see a problem with that. He can go in there and they can watch a movie, whatever. And then so we have
door open.
Cecilia. And she goes, I got a question for you. I asked you this with Champ when he was 3 months. When Cecilia's boyfriend comes over, you going to let him go in the room? I was like, absolutely not.
Hell no.
Yeah. And she was like, oh, no, that's double standard. And she was setting me up because obviously she wasn't going to let a girl go in the room. Yeah. And so it was basically and so, my thoughts have changed. And then, it's just all these things. And you're like, all right, I'm thinking too much ahead of it.
Yeah.
I just need to enjoy my kids.
Yeah, yeah.
And so
let it play out.
Yeah.
Assess the situation when it happens.
But I love being a dad. And I tell everybody that out of everything that we've done in our life, being a dad is the best thing in the world.
Heck yeah.
It blows the brewery away. Everything that we've done, it's absolutely blown it away.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
And
Chuck,
so
you got
I mean,
anything?
yeah. How many kids do you have?
So I have two.
Chuck's got two girls.
And I got two girls. So I got a 3.5-year-old and my youngest just turned 1. So
We're close right there.
And Chuck, are you
right
done?
there.
Are y'all done? Chuck's done.
Absolutely
Chuck's
done. Absolutely. So
no brothers to help out with
No, so
shooting the shotgun or anything like that.
I'd always again, I think most guys are like this. We talked about this.
Yeah.
Boys. That's what I wanted. Boys. Ideal world, I would have had 2 boys, right? So the first one was obviously we had a girl, right? And I was like, okay. My wife was like, I want a boy too. Like we were both boy. As soon as we opened the envelope, right, and it's a pink marker, my wife started crying like one of those. I was like, what's your deal? We were happy, and she's like, well, I said I wanted a boy this whole time, but when I saw that pink, I just lost it because I think deep down in my subconscious, I always wanted a girl. So she was over the moon. I was, it's one of those things, like you said, when you hold your girl, and then
it's different.
You can't describe it, and you can't prepare for it.
Yeah.
And then when we had our second one, we were going to go the route of we're not going to find out till the baby's born.
Yeah.
Right. So, and we were both committed to that. We were gonna have fun with it. Right. And then sonogram time, and they were good. They didn't avoid, and we were just sitting there having a conversation. The sonogram guy get his job, but we went over a part. She happened to flip and kick, and me and my wife were looking at her. And can you tell what that? By what we just saw, and he was like, "I'm not telling you that. Y'all told me no. Whatever." And then we both, if we were going to see something, that would have been where we would have saw something, right? And he goes, I'm not telling you. And I looked at my wife and said, we're having another girl. And she was like, I think so. And we're like, you can tell us now. And he's like, yeah, no boy here. I said, dadgummit. But, and then again, now I have 2 girls. I tell my wife now I wouldn't know what to do with a boy.
Yeah.
Like, it is a whole different thing.
It is different.
And I had to be talked into the second one. Once she got like 2.5, I thought that was like the best. start having conversations, playing games, like kind of independent. Still needs a little bit interaction, like not fully dependent on you to feed and hold. It's more of fun, play, movies, hang out. And so I was like, I'm good. This is perfect. I love this. And then I got talked into the second one, and now we're in. She just started walking about a month or so ago, my second one, so now we're getting right back in that sweet spot that I thought was a sweet spot.
How old is Cecilia?
Cecilia, she's 4 months.
4 months?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, man, she's... Yeah. That wasn't long ago. I remember that now.
So you're still not getting much sleep.
No, we are. So, I mean, we've...
She a good baby?
Yeah, she is a good baby. Champ wasn't. He was awake all through the night.
He was a little Jeremy?
He was a little me. But Cecilia, she sleeps through the night. And,
That's awesome.
A little, I guess it was like from 1 month to 2 months. There was that stage she was waking up, just hungry.
Yeah.
But so now Natalie feeds her well at night, puts her down, and she's good till the morning.
That's good.
Yeah.
Awesome. See, my first one was a breeze as far as like keeping track of, and like you set her down and she wouldn't move, like she never got into stuff. My second one's a tornado, and like you blink. I've left the front, like I come in from my truck and I know I'm going back out, so I just leave the door open. Drop my stuff off. Before I can even go back outside, she's in the front yard, like crawling. Just took off out the door. I'm like, gotta put us. I know why they make leashes for baby leashes. This is why. I always made fun of them, but now I understand why. For kids like mine. But yeah, no, I wouldn't know what to do with boys now if I had one.
Good stuff. So let's want to dive into another beer?
I do.
We got one more left in the flight.
We got one more. We got this one, and then we got the special. He's getting ready. So let's do.
Tell us about this next one, Jeremy.
So this next one is the peanut butter stout, and it's part of our summer stout series. We've been getting a lot of requests, throughout since we've been open, is to do a peanut butter beer. The thing about peanut butter beer is there's a lot of people with a peanut butter allergy. So, we were nervous about doing it because you don't want someone to get sick. So we thought, being a restaurant now, we have obviously peanut butter or peanuts in our brewery. So, obviously people are going to let us know, hey, I have a peanut allergy. So we thought, let's do it. Let's do a peanut butter beer. And we've never had a beer sell out so fast as the peanut butter stout. And then the special treat for you guys that we have today is we're going to finish on next is the peanut butter barrel-aged stout.
Ooh.
And so...
Which you mentioned earlier, this is unavailable, right?
Well, we've sold out.
Oh, okay.
We sold it. So this is, I keep a little stash that's in the cooler that our employees learned early on. You don't touch my stash. You don't touch my beer back there.
Yeah,
so I saved that beer, not for me to be selfish and drink, but for occasions like this. When friends come out, I'm like, hey, I'm going to pour you something that no one else can drink.
That's awesome, man.
And
we appreciate that.
If we have people that come in and, that they're big fans of ours, it's the first time here, I'm gonna make this, a special time for them.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that people love about coming to the brewery is I'm here every Saturday.
Well, and that goes back to Jeremy being a people person, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, right there.
I hang out, and I love feedback,
Yeah.
of what it is. And, you talk about, like, my videos that I do online. And strategically, I do these videos a certain way, and they're very unprofessional.
I love it, though.
They're unedited, but I put my camera down, and I want to make it like you and I are having a conversation. Like I'm talking to you about my beer versus like professionally and lights and an interview setting. No, I am not that guy. I'm a very personable, always want to be approachable.
It's authentic.
And I want people to talk to me, and I butcher words. I can't pronounce things for crap.
I'm the king of it.
Yeah.
I'm the king of it.
Imagine being on a podcast, starting a podcast. We butchered so many words, it's not even funny.
So,
you got to get over that, though.
Yeah.
You're just like, screw it. I don't care.
I'm a one-take wonder, man. I do it in one take, and it's so funny. The one that I did the other day, it was on... I think it might have been, it was the cookies and cream ale and the cookies and cream stout I did the other day, and I talked about those. If you go and watch it, my English teacher would just, like, she would have gotten fired. And because the way I talked and the way I used words, and they didn't make sense. And, Buddy asked me, like, how drunk were you in that video? And I was like, actually, that was my first beer of the day. I just do. I fumble over words, and
we all do.
But I want people to feel like it's real.
Yeah.
And but that's strategically why I do those videos. In the way I have the camera, and just I'm talking to you, one person,
I
just
love it.
explaining my beer. But but back to the peanut butter stout, it's just we don't use extract; it's actual PB2 powder, and right there on that nose, you get peanut butter.
Oh yeah.
And then you
yeah.
taste it, so with so you're drinking the barrel age. So right now you got the good stuff. We're getting to that next.
We got a friend over here sitting across the table. He's already diving in.
He's joined up with us. Yeah, so he's a step ahead.
He's the smartest guy in here. He just pulled the chair up and said, "I'm gonna join." So we on this one, so in the stout series, we use a lot of roasted malt, and so the best way that I describe this beer is like a roasted peanut. But it's our summer stout series, 7.5%. Very sessionable, crushable. If 7.5% is sessionable, it is at 903.
Easy drinking.
It is, and we put lactose in everything in our stouts to give it that milky, creamy, smooth mouthfeel. And I'm really happy how this one turned out.
I'm already almost done, man. This is good stuff.
Yeah, this is
first time I've had it too.
Well, here I'm gonna pass this around.
Jeremy is pumping out beers so fast I can't keep up, and I don't know how many times I've mentioned that to him since I've been here.
So I do want to say I'm going to say this because we do feature beers and liquors every episode, and part of it is Cody's usually had it or tried it, and some of the best parts is my reactions to stuff. And so Cody loves stouts. I'm not the biggest stout fan, but there are a few that I do like, and in addition to this one, which is great, the peanut butter one, we haven't talked too much, but the Sasquatch, that was one of the first stouts that I could actually drink without any problems. Like pour it out.
Chuck loves it.
That and so like my two favorite stouts I have to say, and talking about other beers, is that and the Temptress. So Sasquatch and Temptress are usually my two stouts go to. And but yeah, this peanut butter one.
Temptress is another brewery, right?
Yeah, it's another one. That's what I said. Mentioned in another brewery.
For Chuck to be able to drink only those two stouts,
for me to drink a stout's a big deal, and I'm saying this peanut butter one.
Well, and let's talk on that.
Slouch.
So Sasquatch is an award winner, and I'm talking like numerous times.
So Sasquatch is our first big beer that we brewed. It's 10% alcohol, and we brew beers that are 15 and 16% alcohol. Whew. So it's not our biggest. But the thing about Sasquatch, and we kind of talked about this earlier. Is I like being an underdog. I really do. I enjoy not being the brewery that everybody just oohs and ahs over. Yeah. And so the thing about Sasquatch is it is the King Stout in Texas. There's not another brewery that's brewed a stout that's won as many awards as Sasquatch.
Love it, man.
It's the only. So they did a national poll, and they took it not just from someone's opinion. They took it from Rate Beer. They took it from the U.S. Open Beer Championship and the Great American Beer Festival, and they took the awards, the ratings, and they said, let's come up with the top 10 stouts in America.
Dude.
Sasquatch came in at number 6.
Holy crap.
That was in 2017, right?
Congrats, dude.
So no other brewery in Texas was on that. Now, you don't hear people oohing and all over Sasquatch and how great it is, and I love it because it makes me go back and get in that brew house and get with our brew team and let's continue to push the envelope and be it. And it's not my pride, it's not my ego, it's just that in anything that I've ever done, I want to be the best. And so if somebody comes out and like everybody's like oohing and awing over Sasquatch, then it's like, the bar's set. And, like how can you grow from there? So I hope that we're never... That we're always the underdog because it makes me work harder. Yeah. And I'm proud of what Sasquatch has done from the peers in our industry and not just locally, not just in the state of Texas, but nationally and around the world that have rated Sasquatch so high. But I like that that we've been able to take that base beer and do different things and play with it differently. And from the Sasquatch, this is the peanut butter is the 7.5%. It's not Sasquatch, but it's the base from it. Yeah. And just adding peanut butter to it has made this beer phenomenal.
Heck yeah.
So we enjoy doing all those things. With
so do you think?
So we're low key sitting in a hall of greatness right now.
Oh, dude, no idea. No idea. I already knew that, but. But do you think being on the outskirts of DFW kind of helps eliminate some of that oohing and ahhing? You know what I mean?
It does.
Does that make sense?
But you look at like Revolver, they're a long ways away from from even
That's true.
Dallas
That's true.
or Fort Worth, and Blood and Honey.
It's that one beer.
It's just, it exploded in a way that was great for them.
Yeah.
And, those guys that are over there are good friends of mine. I'm very proud of what they've done.
Yeah.
A lot of people talk about them selling out. And it's one of those deals that, like, you can only get so much money from a bank.
Yeah.
And to continue to take it to the next level, sometimes these breweries have to sell out to be able to continue to grow, because none of us want to stay where we're at.
Right.
Where our approach has always been is not let's be the next Shiner. 903's never wanted to do that.
Yeah.
It's like, let's
and
brew
you've
the
always
beers.
said that.
Mhm.
You've always said that. I remember that.
Brew beers that we want to brew and be about it. I built a consulting company, and grew it. And, it was a lot of fun, but towards the end, I wasn't happy where I'm at.
Yeah.
I will tell you today, I am happy where 903 is.
That's awesome.
I'm happy with what we've done. We've done everything on our own. And when I say it on our own terms, is not what people tell us to brew.
Yeah.
Our distributors have said you need to brew more of this or don't brew that. And perfect example is Kilt Switch. So Kilt Switch, we won a bronze medal last year at the Great American Beer Festival. Second time to win there with another beer, which I think is awesome. The thing about it is our distributor and our account said don't brew a Scotch ale. No one drinks them. And there's a local Celtic festival here, and they said, hey, please brew one for it.
Yeah.
And we did it. And everybody just raved on this beer, and then we entered it in the Great American Beer Festival, won an award, and then now it's part of our year-round lineup.
That's awesome.
So sometimes it's like, goes back to what I said earlier, just being dumb enough not to listen to people and kind of do our own thing.
I love
so
it.
there's a lot of cool things that have came off of that.
Love it.
So
Go ahead.
nah, so both of y'all are rocking gnarly beards. So we're gonna talk.
Jeremy has a gnarly beard.
We're gonna get some beard talk in a second. Before we get there, so if we can touch on like what's next for 903. What's the future look like? What are we something to look forward to, or what's in your head on where this is going next?
So we call this it's a game. And so it's we don't refer it to as a business because we sound too corporate and it's not fun. So we call this a game. And so the beer industry we refer it to a lot as a game. So when I say the game's changing, the what's going on in craft beer is unlike any time that anybody's ever seen. And the consumer is so like they're pro local, but they want the best beer, and you just see like the way that the game is changing. So for perfect example is, we're seeing our sales are down at grocery stores.
Okay.
We're beating our head against the wall. We're like, what's going on? What's going on? And then, we talked to, one of our top accounts at the grocery store level. And I said, hey, we're down. And
is it Amazon is what's going on?
Well, so
online sales.
Well, what's happening is, online grocery store pickup. So you go to the store, you don't even have to go in.
Yeah.
And so, look, when you go to the grocery store, here's the things you need. You need toilet paper, you
Right.
need bread, you need eggs, you need milk.
And you need beer.
Well, so beer is an extra upsell, right?
Yeah.
They're
So
not browsing anymore in the store.
No. So, we get at-home delivery through our grocery store. The reason why, we got a 4-month-old.
Yeah, of course.
Convenience, it's easy.
Heck yeah. We do
So,
the same.
The beauty is we're a brew pub, so people can come here, and so we try to make it about the experience, trying beer, and then hopefully you take beer home. But what we're seeing is people don't buy beer from grocery stores as much. They still do. We're in every Albertsons, Tom Thumb, Whole Foods, Central Market, Brookshire's, Market Streets, and then a lot of the little independents.
That's awesome.
But the thing about it is our sales are down at all of them, and everybody's is
Yeah.
because of that reason. So what we're looking at doing, and what's next, and we made this public not too long ago, is we want to take our exact tap room here in Sherman, and somewhere in the DFW area open another one. So where we do our food, which is gourmet grilled cheeses, burgers, and pizza, and
Love
then we sell our beer to go. And then so that way people from Dallas who can't make that, or Fort Worth, make that drive up, they'll say, hey, here's a 903. They'll have their special brewery only release. They can come here and get it. And then if we can do that, we want to take that to Austin, San Antonio, Houston, and then
sir.
maybe other states throughout it. So
That's awesome.
That's great.
That's where we're looking at going.
That's great,
and make
man.
it the experience. Now we won't brew the beer there, but it's all about coming, tasting, and seeing what we have to offer.
Yeah.
So recently we signed a partnership with Tavour, Tavour. It's an online beer delivery. So they're not in every market. So they're in Texas, but I can't get it here in Sherman. But they're selling
bigger markets, I guess. Yeah,
selling
like
our
Dallas,
beer like
DFW.
crazy.
That's awesome.
And it's online. You order the beer and they deliver it to your house.
This is nationwide.
So they're in 47 states.
Okay.
So that's the future. And we just recently signed with them in July, and they sold 400 cases almost overnight.
Wow.
They ordered
Wow.
another 500 cases. So it's really good because
Wow.
we're figuring out, okay, how's the consumer going? It's a game. So how do we win this game, and how do we stay on the forefront of it? And because we have a shoestring budget, you won't hear me, advertising on radio.
Yeah.
You won't hear me see
Yeah.
me in newspapers. And so, just doing
That's strategic
these things,
too.
just
Yeah.
being strategic about it,
Yeah.
and then not breaking the piggy bank.
Yes.
So what's really cool is Tavour. Check them out. They have an app, and you can sign up for their email list, and then it'll just alert you like what new beers are out, and then you can search all the beers that they have available. And you can buy a 6-pack, and they'll mail it to your
Dude,
house.
so our out-of-state listeners, go hop on that. 903 Brewers.
Yeah, definitely.
That's phenomenal.
Because
Yeah.
in the earlier episodes we talked about bottle share
Yes,
and
we did.
finding ways to get different beers from different parts of the country that we
Yes.
can't get here.
Yes.
And
The game is changing.
this is a perfect example of that.
Heck
And
yeah.
if you're not in the Dallas area, Texas area, Oklahoma,
Perfect
this is
way.
a perfect way to get some 903.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Tavour, Tavour.
Dude, I love it.
Just do it, get the app. But, for us, so like 3 years ago, Natalie and I bought this old school in town. And, we made the announcement a little early. We were really excited about it. And we should have kept it under wraps because it's still a few years out.
Okay.
And, we're going to be converting, that into our future brewery. We won't be in here no more.
Okay.
And so, we're excited about,
Yeah.
kind of.
I've been telling Chuck over here about your middle school venture. It used to be an old middle school, right? Is that right? Or
It was a
elementary.
it was elementary, middle,
Okay.
and I think even a high school at one time.
It's a 3-story
Mm-hmm.
tall old school building, right? Even has the old swing set still sitting out back.
Sits on 2.5
It's
acres.
the coolest spot,
Yeah.
dude. Like
right off
seriously.
the highway towards our downtown.
And that's going to be your new brewery.
That's going to be.
I love it. Or tap room, right?
So we're actually going to build the brewery on the property, and then inside the school is going to be our restaurant tap room. Yeah.
Cody's lighting up. Like, Cody's
That's
losing
great,
his
dude.
mind over here. Like,
because I think that's
got
awesome.
the biggest grin on his face.
That's
No,
the
it
best.
is great.
That's the best thing I've heard all day.
So, we announced it 3 years ago, and probably shouldn't have. We just got excited.
Well, yeah, I would be too. There's
So-
no shame in that.
So I think I jumped the gun, and I'm bad about this, going away from beards.
Yeah.
And we kind of touched on that earlier. didn't we?
Yeah,
about,
beards.
about our beards. And so I got a good story about it.
Tell us about it, because Beard Supply has graced your beard numerous times, right?
Man, I was
Oils, soap.
I was featured in,
And yeah, actually, y'all go check out beardsupply.com. We have a feature with Jeremy, 903 Brewers. We did an article on him. It's a pretty cool story.
Yeah,
we had a couple of guys come out.
If you Google Beard Supply Jeremy, actually, just Google Beard Supply Jeremy, it'll pop up. Because
Boom.
I did that this week exactly that way, and it
Go
pops
check
right
out that
up.
article.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's do a little bit of beer talk real quick.
So when we had our financial coaching company and speaking at these seminars, in the contract agreement was I could not have a beard. And yeah, but the thing about it was you got to realize this was in the early to mid 2000s.
Yeah.
This is really before Duck Dynasty, so beards weren't very popular.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So I shaved every day, and so in the agreement was I had to have a clean-shaven face, and for whatever strategically, this goes back to, the 60s and 70s when they were, people were really starting to grow beards and being, the razor companies were really smart and did this whole businessman campaign. If you have a beard, you're hiding something, right? So it was a whole mindset. Was these guys who invited me to come speak at their seminars, and it wasn't like 10 people in a room. We're talking thousands of people in a room.
Wow.
And so I mean that's one of the things that I get about being personable and being able to talk is I spoke in front of thousands of people
Yeah.
at one time. But, in the contract it was you can't have a beard. And me, I'm so stubborn. If you tell me I can't do something, I kind of want to do
Right
it.
there with you, dude.
I want
That punk mentality, right?
Yeah,
It's
I want to do it. And so what happened was I decided I wanted to, we were starting a brewery and we were going to sell that business. And so I said, well, I can't speak at seminars anymore. And, Natalie and I were starting the brewery and we were just broken out of money. I mean, we'd borrowed all the money the bank would loan us, and I got offered a pretty good amount to come and speak. And so they sent over their contract, and my beard, it was about like his.
Yeah.
It was not. It was
nice. What is that? Maybe quarter of an inch.
I just shaved.
Did you?
I mean, shaved. I just trimmed up. Yeah, no, I keep it really short.
Nice and tight.
Yeah.
We call that nice and tight.
I
is what
keep
we call
mine
that.
nice and tight.
It wasn't nothing that was like ours now.
Yeah.
You could say it was nothing impressive.
Jeremy's is longer than mine right now, man. I'm jealous.
No, I was pretty excited to see that. So it was one of those things that I just had kept it trimmed and groomed, and on the contract it said had to be clean shaven. So I marked it out and just signed it, sent it over. They were wanting me to come, and I said I'm done speaking.
Yeah.
Well, they sent an email back to Natalie and I, and they said there was a thing about being marked out about not shaving. If that's the case, then you don't bother.
Yeah.
Don't bother.
Yeah.
You have to have a clean shaven face. So my immediate reaction was a middle finger in the air.
Yeah,
like, I'm not doing.
When
it,
you just said that, I kind of cringed. I'm like,
Yeah.
I hate that.
So because it was.
Why does that matter?
It's part of not don't tell me what to live my life.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
And so Natalie set me down and she says, "Go shave your face." And we needed the money, man.
Yeah.
We were broke.
I hear you.
So I went in there and literally a tear shed. And I said, I will never shave again.
Yeah.
I don't care if I'm broke. I'm a starving artist. That is fine. That is who I am.
Yes.
And so I went and I spoke, and I absolutely killed it. It was the best
That's
speaking gig
awesome.
I ever did because I was like, I'm going out, and I'm going out on a high note.
Yeah.
And made no mention of these people told me I had to shave to
But
talk
I'm going
to
to
y'all.
kill it otherwise.
And and I knew it was my last time, and I love public speaking,
Yeah.
and I love being able to sell, my product from a stage. I'm really good at it. I'm a salesman. It's the art of the sell, the road to the sell, and that was it. It was like my last hoorah of it. But so my beard has grown since then, and
A little bit.
the funny thing is like whenever Cecilia or Champ pull, grab my beard and pull a hair out, I'm like, that hair is older than you. You just
That's true.
you just pulled this hair out. But Cody and I were talking about this earlier. Is I actually forget because you don't feel a beard. You don't feel it, and me being bald, I shave my head in the shower, so I don't spend a lot of time.
Yeah,
looking
Jeremy's a
in the
bald guy with a hefty beard. I will say that.
looking into a mirror.
I like it.
So, it's always the first day that I wear a hoodie. I'll zip it up.
Oh,
it's the
no.
worst. And you're like, oh man. So you have to cut whatever little bits in there, because there's no way.
You got to cut it out.
Yeah.
Was it something about Mary? Remember the Franken
Oh
beans?
yeah, freaking beans.
So it's like I feel his pain, but not really, but with my beard. But, so when Cody started Beard Oil, I'm like, I let my beard just do whatever. And like, honestly, like I've never used another beard oil other than yours.
That's awesome.
And I've been out for a while. So he brought me today this
I brought you some
1975. And the smell and the aroma on this is amazing. So tell me, what am I all
It's
my
fire,
smelling?
bro. What do you? It's supposed to be. It's nostalgic. I mean, it's supposed to take you back to 1975. Is what it's supposed
Really?
to do.
Well,
yeah.
if Natalie smells it, we may be having a baby.
Hey,
There you
know
go.
what I'm saying?
I think she's going to be all over that oil right there.
Hey, and you know what? If you go to our website and you read the description on the beard soap, it specifically says, "Beware, this could be responsible for your next child." No, I'm not kidding.
Beware could cause pregnancies.
Yeah, because I think she's going to be all over that. So I'm
That's
glad
awesome.
that she's smelling me and not anybody else.
Hey, there you go.
But no, it's I just put some in right before the show.
Heck yeah.
It looks good, doesn't it?
It's good stuff,
Yeah,
man. It's my favorite. It's one of the favorites. It used to be 34 vintage, which was which was an ode to my grandfather. He was born in 1934. And the reason I created that beard oil is because I used to ride around his old Toyota truck, and he used to smoke pipe tobacco all the time.
Nice.
And it was just kind of that, like, all those aromas packed into one little bottle. And then we changed the branding on it, and we added hemp to it. So there's a little bit of hemp oil in it now, so it kind of gives it that cannabis aroma a little bit, just a little bit of a dash. And when we did that, we just decided to rename it and call it 1975.
So if I get
it kind of takes you back.
If I get pulled over and they smell the cannabis, I'll be
you're
like,
great.
That's my beard oil.
There's no THC. Yeah, you're good. Just like the IPA beard. We used to get that question all the time. We had an IPA beard oil, and people were like, "So if I put this in my beard and I get pulled over, am I going to get in trouble?" I was like, "No, man. There's zero alcohol content. Just pure awesomeness."
That's funny.
But yeah, we used to. So I knew 903 Brewers beforehand. And then we launched Beard Supply, and then we started doing a lot of the same events. A lot of the beer festivals around Dallas, like Untapped Festival. Man, you've been to so many festivals.
Big Texas Beer Fest.
Big Texas Beer Fest is a great one, yeah. So Beard Supply would be up there. We would pitch our tent and our products, and you guys were there as well. And honestly, personally, that was the coolest thing. To be at Jeremy's first tasting ever out in your front yard, and then to develop this business, and then to be in the same spot as you guys at the same event, it was like surreal to me, to be honest with you. I mean, just it was the best thing to me was to be at the same event with all these breweries in DFW, and just pitching our products, to guys, and to see all the beards out there too.
Yeah,
like,
it is fun.
All the beards coming and just stopping by the Beard Supply tent, and all the breweries, all the guys coming by. This is the coolest thing to me.
My favorite thing, I'm not a paid spokesperson. I know we need to talk about another beer, but my favorite thing to do is to go stand by the tent, and I see people without beards go, "Hey, 1 month ago, I didn't have a beard. I use this beard oil, and this is what I had."
Jeremy sold lots of beard products.
And then I walk away.
Dude, that's what's funny is because I have the only affiliation I have with Beard Supply is that my good friends started it and run it. Other than that, like, I don't get paid for it, nothing. But I would still go and work events with them. And I went to Untapped last year.
It was the very last.
The very last
Fest.
one, and dude, that was so much fun.
It was fun. It's good time.
Hanging out with different brewers, and just like you said, the people walking up and just
the relationships.
That atmosphere is great. Yeah. Because there's people I've only met that day, and then we've seen them a couple places in Dallas, and it's like, oh, hey, we were at so and so. We talked. They're running into. But dude, I just love that atmosphere, that craft beer atmosphere, and then Beard Supply slides right in nicely. Like you said, with the beer. Telling you this is how I grow my beard and walk away.
A month ago I didn't have it, and then look at this and just walk away. These poor people are like, "Oh, I still look like this."
I gotta give me some of that.
Dude, that's probably not even working for Beard Supply, but that's probably the number one question. So does this help me grow my
all
beard?
the time?
The thing is, like,
imagine how many times I had to repeat myself.
It's like he couldn't legally say that the fruits and berries were better for you in that other beer.
Right.
Cody can't legally say it will help you grow your beard, but that's what everyone always thinks.
So,
that's
like,
the first question.
Like, when I talk to people trying to grow a beard, it's the thing I tell everybody is mine was super patchy. I have bald spots. I mean, I have one right here.
Yeah.
But as your beard grows,
can't see it anymore.
You can't see it anymore.
Yeah.
So when people are like, "Oh, my beard I look like a mangy dog."
Yeah.
I'm like,
patience, bro.
Yeah,
patience.
It takes time, and so, but like, grow it out, be a man, but honestly,
Love
like,
it.
I feel so free having this beard,
Heck yeah, dude.
because I didn't live in a corporate world, but I had a business, and they told me that I had to be clean shaven.
Yeah.
And so part of being told I can't look like this, makes me want it more.
Yeah,
and now I'm glad I am.
Heck yeah, man.
Which
cheers to that.
That's kind of funny though, because I still work in that like corporate environment, and Cody used to work where I work now, and set the bar. Yeah, he rebelled,
man.
and now like our I don't know if there was a former policy in place before, but I know it was frowned upon. Now people have beards and up and down like it's nobody's business. Part of that's it's because of Cody, because he was beard guy. I know he was beard guy.
I was beard guy out there. Yeah.
Well, it like it's caught on.
It
you
is,
know, and
yeah,
it's like craft beer.
And what does it matter? Like,
it takes time, and
what matters is the work that you produce and put out in your work environment, not what you look like.
So
you know?
dad bods are in, and so are our beards, and so
Two things I'm happy that are in fashion.
But I'm happy to say my wife and I in December will be together 20 years. We're both been faithful to each other.
Awesome.
But I can't tell you how she knows. Like I'm married way over my head.
Yeah.
Like I mean she should not be with me. The thing about it is it's funny. Is especially these young girls who don't get it. It's like the hashtag Me Too. They grab my beard, and I'm like, hey, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And this is my wife's right here. Don't touch
how many
my
times
beard.
my wife has mentioned that to me? She's like, oh, all those girls grabbing on your beard at the booth. I'm like, babe, I'm just trying to sell product. You know what I'm saying?
Selling product.
But it's the same thing, and so if you do grow a beard, all I got to say is be careful because you're
it's a chick magnet.
It is a chick magnet.
Me Too is a two-way street.
It is a two-way. I tell I joke around a lot when people are looking at. I'm like, hey, my eyes are up here. My eyes are up here. Don't stare. Don't stare.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right, let's dive into this last beer. Jeremy,
let's drink this special one.
He brought a banger.
We'll wrap this thing up. A banger.
A banger.
We like bangers.
Call this a banger.
This is our Sasquatch, and we Jack Daniels. We got a bunch of their barrels here recently, within the last year and a half. And we aged Sasquatch in this barrel, and there was still a lot of whiskey that was in it. We don't dump it out or clean it. I mean, we want those flavors to be in it.
Yeah.
And so this is a taproom only release. You can only get here at the brewery.
Awesome.
It came in at 12% alcohol. We added the PB2 peanut butter to it. So one of the things that I talk about in our barrel aging part of the process that we do here at the brewery is we don't set a time frame on our barrels. So for a lot of times, like I've done hundreds of brewery tours, and I listen to brewers, and everybody has their way of doing things, but they're like, we age our beer in barrels from 4 months, 5 months, and 6 months. We do not age our beer in barrels for a certain time frame. The barrels tell us when they're ready. All of our releases, we pick 2 barrels. And it's part of our job. This is the tough part: is tasting barrels once a month.
Yeah.
And then we blend them. One barrel will have a ton of vanilla. Some may have coconut. Some may have oak. Some may have all whiskey. Some may have no flavor to it. Like it's just so like Sasquatch has a ton of like chocolate and roasted malt to it. So the longer this beer ages in a barrel, that chocolate and roasted just really mellows out. It's a lot like whiskey. So if you taste whiskey and you're like, ooh, this is hot, it didn't sit in the barrel long enough.
Okay.
So like a cheap whiskey that is phenomenal, that's hard to get, it was just released this week, was Weller 12.
Yeah.
If you've ever had Weller 12, it is cheap, but it is amazing.
Good stuff.
It is amazing.
It's following a dog.
It's because it's set in the barrel for 12 years. And it's smooth.
For 12 years?
Yeah, so, it's, I believe it. I think that's why I call it Weller 12. Maybe I'm wrong.
But hey.
But it's perfect. Like it is, I need to Google that. So
No.
I've told everybody that. But it's perfect. So what we do with our barrel-aged stouts is you can taste, from tasting peanut butter stout to tasting tasting the barrel-aged stout, a lot of that roasted, that bitterness has faded.
Okay.
You get the vanilla, you get chocolate. It's very smooth, it's creamy, and then you add that PB2 peanut butter to it, and the beer is dangerous. Dangerous 12%.
Dangerously good.
Let's cheers to it.
Cheers, man. I already took a sip.
I know.
Hey, but
I couldn't hold myself. Cheers. We got a pal over here, Brady. He's diving in with us.
So
this is good. This is smooth.
He said it was dangerous. I'm just dipping my toe. Dipping my toe in just a little bit before I take a big old swig.
Great peanut butter taste, and then the whiskey on the background is what I get.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I can see how that would get you in trouble.
That is so good, Jeremy.
I feel like that this is up Cody's alley, like for sure.
This is,
and it is good. Don't get me
this is what I
wrong,
prefer.
but if you can find a good way to mix beer, stout beer, and whiskey,
Boom, done.
Cody's game over. Cody's game over.
Thanks for sharing this, Jeremy.
Yeah, so Weller 12 is, so Pappy Van Winkle is very expensive. Luckily I have some rich friends that have let me drink Pappy Van Winkle. But I to go on to Weller 12, it says Weller 12 year might be the closest you can get to tasting Pappy Van Winkle. It comes from the same recipe as Pappy Van Winkle L Lot B, which is also aged 12 years. So it's 12 years.
Nice.
And if you get it tried,
Talk about
it's very
being
smooth.
patient.
Yeah, there's no way I could do that. I mean, think about that. Like,
That is patience.
God, I hope I'm in business 12 years.
Jeez
Like
Louise.
it's
Right?
been 6 years.
That fascinates me.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, right? Does that not fascinate you?
So we actually did, like for example, I turned 40 this year, so someone got me some Balvenie 21.
You're 40.
I'm 40, and so think
I
about
would never guess that.
that.
Right?
It was 21 years, so I was 19 when that was put in barrels, and it wasn't even drinking legal age at that time.
crazy.
And then to get it and drink it, and then somebody brought me some back, and it was like I said, it's kind of nice having rich friends. It was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
55-year-old Macallan Scotch.
Ooh.
And so the guy that made that's probably dead. And, to sit in that barrel and to drink that.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I would never pay that much for stuff.
Right.
But it's amazing what barrel aging does. And so we enjoy playing with different stuff of barrels
And,
here
and
at
I'm
the
sure
brewery.
that comes back to, I'm sure you've made a ton of friends and relationships, built a lot of relationships through this brewery and what you're doing. And for you to experience stuff like that, you probably never would have experienced that beforehand, like prior to the brewery. And then building relationships like that in order to go and just hang out and experience that.
It is
Probably
neat.
never would have happened, right?
No, and we've met a lot of cool people along the way. We've met a lot of celebrities along the way, and a lot of the celebrities that have drinking and still currently drink our beers is pretty neat.
Yeah.
But we're just
Speaking
Are you
Hey.
able to give one name drop or no?
Chris Stapleton.
Chris.
Yes!
So Chris Stapleton.
Chris
Yes.
Stapleton.
He came through Choctaw last year, and I've got a great relationship with the
That
casino.
blew my mind.
He
dude.
got our beer and then loved it, and they got more. Then he came back this year, asked for it. Eric Church came through here and got it.
I went to the concert.
He went to that concert.
Yeah.
And another cool thing is if Pat Green is part owner of the Rustic.
Rustic, yeah.
And this is a funny story. Talked about me delivering beer. The Rustic is now open for lunch and dinner. They weren't, and I was delivering beer in. It was a Friday. I was in a bad mood. Traffic was horrible.
Yeah.
And I got there at like 3:30, and I knew I'm going to be sitting in traffic forever.
Yeah.
And I go in, and the two managers of the Rustic at that time are like, "Hey, Jeremy, come here." And I said, "Hang on." I had to go in their cooler. Their coolers, they sell a ton of beer.
Yeah.
So I had to go in there and get everything squared away, get it set. I was in there 20 minutes. Even more mad, right? Because the Anheuser-Busch guys and the Coors Miller just totally ruined that
And
cooler.
kegs are not light. They're heavy.
Kegs aren't light, but I'm throwing them around like Donkey Kong. So I come out, and the managers of the Rustic were like, hey, did you not see who that was? And it was at the end of the bar, so there was a gentleman sitting at the end of the bar, and the two managers were there. And I should have thought for a reason, why is this guy eating food, they're closed, and there's
Yeah.
two managers talking to him? It was Pat Green.
Oh, man.
And so
That's
when I
awesome.
walked by, they said, "Jeremy, come here." And he held up my beer, and he was like, "I like your beer."
Dude.
So he was drinking the Chosen one. And
I like your beer.
Yeah, and so I was like, "Why didn't you tell me that was Pat Green?" He thought, "You're from Texas, right? How the hell do you not know that's Pat Green?" Well, but like you get in the zone, you're pissed off of traffic.
Yeah,
You're
of
already
course.
behind, and you
Yeah.
got to get in, and you got to get out.
You're in work mode.
You're in work mode.
Yeah, you're grinding.
And so every time I came in there, I was like, "Pat here," and they're like, "No, man, you missed your golden opportunity. He could have wrote a song about you, but you were such a jerk, and you didn't come and talk to Pat Green." So if Pat ever listens to this, I love you, Pat. Thank you.
Snowed Pat Green.
Hey, Pat will listen to this eventually.
I think your music is some of the best that Texas has ever produced, and
Hell yes.
and I'm honored that you drank my beer that day. I hope you drink it again.
That's a fact.
And thanks for carrying our beer at the Rustic. So Rustic is blowing up all over the country. So they have one in Dallas, San Antonio, Houston. I think they're fixing to open one down in South Texas along the border.
Nice.
And so our beers sell well at all of them.
That's
And
awesome.
so, we're honored that that the Rustic has carried us since day one that they opened their restaurant.
Heck yes.
So there you go. That's another spot you can grab 903. You find the Rusty, you can
Yeah.
get some 903, right?
Let's
Yeah.
wrap it up. Y'all ready to wrap it up?
Yeah. So
Jeremy,
as we're wrapping up, we're taking a swig of this.
this is
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Still drinking. This is great.
Barrel aged
so-
peanut butter stout.
On our way out, this is what I want to say about 903. So, people that have listened to this podcast before, they know I'm very picky on the beers I drink, and I have a love-hate relationship with IPAs, and just the bitterness and the way it hits you. All of the beers I've tried from 903 have been so smooth, like they don't hit you in the mouth or the throat. Even what was that one? We did have an IPA.
Beer Mocha?
That was. So we didn't
very
feature
first
that.
beer.
We didn't feature that on the podcast, but when we first got here, you gave us the Beer Mocha, and when you said it's an IPA, I don't know if you want to go in on more on that.
It feels like you're biting into an orange slice, and
So-
he nailed it on the head with
Yes.
that.
So that was the thing is like, I wanted a beer that you could get the day going early.
Yeah.
So it's our 903 IPA, and we infuse it with a ton of fresh orange puree. So we wanted like you're biting into the middle of an orange.
Yeah.
And
It's
like
exactly what it tastes
Yes.
like.
brunches are popping up all over the country, and so like we're selling this to restaurants. Like, put this on your brunch menu. This
Yeah.
is the beer. Forget a mimosa.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to be drinking the beer
Beer
mosa.
mosa. Clever.
And so that's why we came up with that name. And man, it's done so well,
and
for
you,
us.
and you mentioned IPA, and I was like, of course, yeah. If you suggested, I'm going to
Did you
try
notice
it.
he was kind of hesitant
Yeah.
when you asked that?
Well, that's because I'm always hesitant when someone says IPA, but that one and all the stouts, all the beers I've tried here, legit, not blowing smoke up anyone's ass, are so smooth and so nice.
Yes.
Like, you can't go wrong with any of the 903 beers, and I love every single one of them.
Oh yeah.
So anyway,
Cheers to that.
Yeah, and I just
Cheers to Jeremy.
Thank you so much for letting us come out here, chill with you.
Jeremy, you want
kick
to plug
it.
anything? You got anything coming up? You want anybody to watch out for anything?
Yeah, so Saturday, September 7th is our Oktoberfest.
Okay.
And, we've got two local bands going to be playing that day. We're going to be open 11 to 9. The restaurant's going to be featuring a special Oktoberfest menu.
Nice.
And, just really looking forward to the fall and winter.
Yeah.
We're going back to the Great American Beer Festival 1st of October.
Hell yeah.
And, we hope as
That's
well
in Colorado, right?
Yep, every year in
Right on.
Denver. And we hope to bring back, some medals and represent Texas
I know
well.
you will. I know you will.
We're looking forward to it.
Hell yeah.
So where can on Instagram, Twitter,
Yeah.
website, where can people find 903 or keep up with what you're doing?
So 903 Brewers, we're very active on Facebook, Instagram, not so much Twitter. I wish we were. It's just it doesn't.
you never know. You're either
doesn't-
one or the
yeah,
other.
It doesn't
sometimes.
do videos just as well.
Right.
And so, and then on Untapped. So, you can find our beers on Untapped, about them, and but also our website, 903brewers.com. You can see all of our beers that we've got coming out and all the
Right
other
on.
fun stuff we're doing.
You guys do trivia every week, right? Here at the brewery in the tap room.
Yep. So we do
That's a
trivia
good
every
time.
Thursday night. It's fun. We do theme night trivia, like this Thursday night. We've got coming up. We're going to do Mean Girls trivia.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We did Disney trivia a few weeks
Yeah.
ago, and it's we'll have like 300 people come out.
Oh, man,
That's great.
That's crazy.
It is. So we have a back
crap.
room through this other wall. It seats another 150
Wow.
people. Outside, it seats 70. Our tap room that we're sitting in right now seats a little over 100. And so, we just put speakers all throughout it
Unbelievable.
and have a good time. And man, we've got such a great kitchen crew that knocks the food out.
Yeah, you guys are full on kitchen now, right?
do gourmet grilled cheese sandwiches. We do burgers and we do pizza.
I'm getting some food after this.
Yeah. Oh,
Let's
yeah.
wrap this up. I'm hungry.
Yeah, so
Well, again, thank you so much for
Yeah,
letting us
dude.
come and kick it at 903. And so again, follow them on Instagram, Facebook.
Facebook.
Check out the website if you can find the Rustic.
What was that beer app again? Website?
Untapped.
Untapped?
So,
No,
yeah.
the other one where you can actually buy it online.
Oh, so Tavour. Tavour.
You guys go pick that up.
Yeah, they have an app. You can get the app, and then it'll alert you and send you an email of not just our beers, but all the other cool beers you may
Yeah.
not have access
Right
to.
on.
So,
Hell yeah.
so that's going to do it for this episode of Modern Dud Chat. As always, if you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, whatever you listen to, like, subscribe, comment, review, give us all the good stuff. We'll even take the bad. We like feedback. But you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever, at Modern Dud Chat. You can find me personally at Modern Chuck.
You can find me at Cody Murph, CODYMERF. Jeremy, where are you at?
So I'm 903 Brewers.
903
That's where you can
Brewers.
find me. And I run all the social media. So if you ever want to reach out to me directly, just hit our. You can send us a message directly through Facebook or 903 Brewers on Instagram, and
Yes, sir.
get me, and I'll respond to you pretty quickly.
Nice.
There you go. We'll catch you next time.
Peace.
It's a lot of fun, guys.